Hello everyone, this is Demon Sword, and we're going to go into a final verdict on the Ryan Katana. Now, as some of you have noticed, when I first got it I was pretty impressed with it, but as I, more closely inspected it, used it, polished it, tried to actually use it for basic use, more and more things just started giving off little red flags, as it were. Initially I was very happy with the purchase, but in truth, when compared to some swords that are actually, like the Ninja, is actually better geometry than this one, better weighted, and less issues. But let's go into some pros and cons of the Ryan sword. First off, the sheath, Seiya, not properly done, very malformed. The sheath, I could barely even draw this in the beginning. I actually had to sand right about here and there, just lightly enough so it would sheath and unsheath without being too sticky. I do like the Seiya, but I mean, I have put this into some use. I do like this grip design. This would actually be really great on some other my katanas. I do like the Seiko. It's still been pretty tight, even when rewrapping it and trying to get it, unwrapped and rewrapped. This style is actually very annoying. It takes a couple minutes for me to remember how to do it, and then to actually do it. Let's go into details on the sword itself. The Suka is actually taking some good beating and hasn't really had an issue in this part. It still resonates too much, and it will make my hands a little numb after use. The Manuki haven't shown much wear or tear. The Rayskin's done really good. That is authentic Rayskin. There's a little minor wear on the F and K parts. But that's because of the oils in my hands, and it wasn't properly lacquered to begin with. I will say though, I was more impressed. Dog hair, probably. Cat hair. With the Tsuba. The Tsuba is actually a lot heavier when I finally took it apart and checked it out. It has some good weight to it, and if it was on a different katana, I would say it would help balance it out. The problem with this sword is it's really top heavy, and it has no real balance, because I mean, if I try to just hold this, its balance point is about there, and it should actually be about here to even there on the sword, and it's not. Please don't worry about me putting my finger on, but I do clean these afterward. Now, if I can get this into the sunlight, just so you can see, I have put it through use. I had to sharpen this because I did pay extra to have it sharpened, and it was not sharpened. They tried to send me a Bokus video, but that was of a different katana. And the only part of this blade that even had a minor edge was right here. Now this blade is sharp to a point, but let's get back onto some problem points. The Kisaki tip is malformed. This shape is a little, actually way too thin on this side and bulkier right about here. The problem with this type is in stabbing or thrusting strikes you can actually bend this, so I actually tried to keep away from doing it. I have done a few just tip strikes where you just chop very lightly at a tip target, like one roll tatami, no issue, but it's still very awkward to use in truth. The other thing is this geometry that I was telling you about, the wave, how it's should be straight all the way down. There are actually wavers like this up and down the blade, which when you cut, it binds just slightly, and that slows down your strikes. There is an actual bend in the blade that has always been there since I've owned it. It's right about in the middle, and that's only where it was really kind of sharp to start with, just kinda. I could put this along my arm and not get cut, okay? Down my hand, I even done videos of that. I mean, even holding it one-handed, two-handed, it's still hard to come back up. It's too much resistance. On a sword, you want it to come back up like this, very quick, but in truth, it's not going to be able to do it. The Agako is drilled, and that's fine, but they left metal burrs and spiked edges, so it was actually difficult to disassemble. They actually glued one of the pegs in, which, that's just a bad taste. I'm sorry. But I mean, it is a very pretty blade. I would have to say it is very nice to look at. I've only used it on light targets because this type of chemical treatment will wear off on medium or heavy targets. Harder targets will definitely wear this off. Even light targets have little nicks from where I was starting to hit on some bamboo. Right about here there are 3 points because I was trying to see if the tip would be okay. Just slight wearing. But I mean, the folded steel part looks very pretty, and in truth, I find it to be a very good decorative blade. Just seeing and watching it. So I still give it a low score. The fact that the manufacturer would not take responsibility, that they just kind of kept berating me with just garbage customer service, and that they wouldn't, again, just be courteous toward me. They, you know, okay, let's look into this, let's see what's the problem. I mean, they just, as I posted in another video, they're a China kind of maker. They don't care, and even if I give them a negative feedback, it doesn't really hurt them, because 100 more people will buy from them, and they continue to do. That is why Ryan Sword is still around, I guess. I won't recommend them because there are too many problems with the blade to be of use in dojo. It's not balanced, but there are good pro and con parts to the sword. If the blade itself had been better made, I would be much happier with it, but when compared to my Chetness Higo, which I purchased for only $10 more, the blade has a diamond tip, it has perfect geometry. The only issue with the Chetness is the polish is not the best, but that doesn't really hurt it in terms of performance. They're almost equivalent blade geometry styles. They're both medium swords, target style. The Suka on this I actually like better. If I could just transfer that over and take the sheath off, I'd be totally happy with reusing parts. So, again, the Ryan swords, a lot of people are very biased on them. I see a lot of people have issues with them, and that's why I attempted to purchase this initially, to try and see if it was a valid point. Between having to wait almost a year to even get customer service to contact me via email just to talk about even purchasing this, to actually finally purchasing it, and getting beratedly bad customer service trying to deal with the problem sword, and I still have the problem sword. They never would address it. They didn't want it shipped back to them. They didn't want to take responsibility for a problem blade, because all their blades are probably problem blades. I've seen people who own them tried to contact them, or just, you know, compare my blade to theirs, and they actually have similar issues. So take that as it will. I'm just telling you from my own experience, my friends. So, Demon Sword out. I still will probably keep the Ryan Sword and maybe even regift it for someone just as a wall decoration. So, questions or comments below. If you want to talk about assistance or wanting to check out some of the other projects, please check out the Facebook page, Demon Sword X. That is all, my friends.